Hey everyone. We're always told there's this huge wall between science and faith, right? Science is for facts, faith is for feelings. But I've got to ask, what if it's not that simple? What if I told you that the worldview of atheism actually takes an incredible amount of faith? Stick with me, because that's exactly what we're going to look at.
Okay, so let's just get right to it. Is science really the totally neutral, unbiased thing we're told it is? Just the facts, no opinions allowed? Is that even possible? Because the whole conversation really starts right there. All right, just so we're all on the same page, let's nail down these two words. When people say something is subjective, they mean it's your personal opinion. It's true for you. Objective means it's a fact, period. It's true for everybody. And the story we're usually sold is that science is objective, and my faith? Well, that's just subjective.
And honestly, this is where the deception gets really clever. They want you to picture the scientist as this totally neutral person in a white lab coat, starting with a completely empty mind, just following the data. And then you have the religious person, who's just starting with blind faith. No facts, just belief.
But here's the truth, and it's a big one. Every scientist, no matter what they believe, starts with beliefs they can't prove. It's impossible not to. And I want to show you that the atheist worldview is built on a foundation of some massive, unprovable assumptions. Let me show you.
All right, first faith point, the universe. Let's start with everything.
So the first belief you have to accept by faith is this: matter came from nothing. Think about it. Before the Big Bang, what was there? The atheist position has to be absolutely nothing. No space, no time, no energy, no matter. And then, poof, from literally nothing, all the stuff that makes up our entire universe just appeared. I mean, have you ever seen that happen? You stare at an empty box and something just pops into existence inside? Of course not. It's because nothing can't do anything. It's nothing. It has no power to create. It just isn't.
Look, no scientist has ever observed something coming from nothing. You can't test it, you can't prove it, you just have to believe it happened. And believing in something you can't prove, that's faith.
Okay, faith point number 2. Let's talk about life.
Okay, so the second required belief is this: life arose from non-life. The idea is that billions of years ago, in some primordial soup, a bunch of dead, random chemicals just bumped into each other in exactly the right way and bam, became alive.
Yeah, it's kind of like throwing a bunch of car parts into a junkyard and waiting for a hurricane to come through. And when it's over, you find a perfectly working car. But not just any car, a car that can then build perfect little copies of itself. It's an incredible leap.
And again, we've never seen this happen. Not once. No scientist in any lab has ever created life from non-living chemicals. So to believe that this is how we all got here, you have to accept it without proof. And what's that? That's faith.
All right, faith point number 3, the mind. Now we're getting personal.
So the third belief you've got to hold is this: consciousness, your mind, your thoughts, your feelings, all of that emerged from unconscious chemicals. That the feeling of being you right now, listening to this, came from a bunch of matter that has no feelings, no thoughts, no awareness at all.
I mean, that's really like believing a rock can start to think if you just give it enough time. How do you get a mind from mindless matter? How does a collection of atoms start to ponder its own existence? Science has absolutely no answer for that. To believe that the gray matter in your skull somehow produces your soul, yourself, your you-ness, without any scientific explanation for how, well, you know what that is. That's faith.
And that brings us to the fourth and final faith point: morality. This one underpins everything about how we live.
This one is huge. The belief here is that our sense of right and wrong, our moral law, came from processes that are completely amoral. Amoral just means without morality. Think about it. Gravity doesn't care if you're a good person. Evolution doesn't care about justice. They're just mindless forces.
So how does a universe governed by survival of the fittest, where the strong devour the weak, somehow produce the command to love your enemy? Where does our deep gut-level feeling that compassion is good and cruelty is evil come from, if we're just the result of a meaningless, random process?
To believe that morality just bubbled up out of an amoral universe, that's not science. That's a philosophical leap. And that, my friends, is faith. Okay, so let's put it all together. Let's look at the final verdict. Which one takes more faith? On one hand, as a Christian, I believe, in the beginning, God created the heavens and the earth. Now, people call that faith.
But let's look at what the atheist has to believe. Number 1, nothing created everything. Number 2, death created life. Number 3, unconsciousness created consciousness. And number 4, amorality created morality. You have to believe all 4 of those things.
My friends, when you lay it all out like that, I have to be honest, believing in all of that takes far, far more faith than believing in God.
In the end, everyone has faith in something. You either put your faith in the Creator or in the creation. The Apostle Paul wrote about this nearly 2,000 years ago. He said, "They exchanged the truth about God for a lie and worshipped and served created things rather than the Creator." Something to think about.